Good morning. My name is Joe Bandel, and I am the last Rosicrucian. Today we're going to talk about physical life and the soul. Now, the physical body creates the soul, or the observer self, or the ego. It's actually a byproduct, as I've talked about, it's a byproduct of the invention of reading and writing, and the ability to imaginatively recreate your awareness inside your imagination. And it was believed and it was discovered that this watcher or observer self exists far beyond the death of the physical body, that it's immortal. But it's originally created by the physical body. And that is why physical life is the most important thing in the universe, hands down. That's why physical life is so sacred, and why Earth, Gaia, is so sacred. Now, once the soul is developed, perhaps it can exist for thousands of years without a physical body. I'm not going to argue that, because that does seem to be the case. But it will gradually dissolve and lose awareness until it fades away into nothingness if it is not reunited at some point in time with a physical body. And that is why I have shared that the soul requires a physical body. And 1,000,000 years from now, 1,000,000,000 years from now, the soul is still going to require some form of a physical body. This whole concept that the soul is going to merge back into source is not what's meant to happen, because life is meant to grow, to become more complex, and to explore all things. It's not meant to dissolve back into nothingness. And anyone that has had that mystical experience of merging back with source can tell you that once you merge back and are embraced with that source energy, it gently sends you back out into the world again. That's the truth. So this whole concept of going away, leaving the physical, leaving the physical body forever, leaving this whatever, that's false. The idea is we bring heaven to earth, not that we go to heaven. And in a way, I'm also going to admit there are entities or beings that exist within the astral, and they may have at one point existed also, had physical bodies. Either that, or they are holding the fabric of physical reality together. And a time comes when they also have to make that choice of, hey, it's time to come back and experience life in a physical body, to renew the soul, so that the soul can grow and the soul can develop. A lot of spiritual teachings through the ages have said that being in a physical body, experiencing physical life, is the opportunity for rapid soul development. These souls or awarenesses that do not have physical bodies do not have opportunities for soul development, except through interaction with those people that are already in physical bodies, and they draw energy from those people. Now, I'm going to talk about the three types of people that I'm going to be describing later on in future videos. The original Earth inhabitants that have developed souls, that are in the process of developing souls for the first time. I call them Gnostics or true mystics. They have a genetic connection with all of life on Gaia, on physical Earth, and as well as a spiritual connection. They are able to go as high as possible in a physical, material way, but also in a non-physical, mystical, and magical way. They are able to integrate the shadow aspects of themselves. That is what makes them so powerful, and that is what makes them so threatening to the two groups of people that I'm going to talk about next, the atheists and the traditionalists or the zealots. Now, the atheists and the traditionalists or zealots are space brothers and sisters, souls that have incarnated in physical bodies to experience physical life and continue the development of their own souls. But both groups are extremely different, and they both lack a spiritual genetic connection to Earth. So when they are here in physical bodies, they don't do so well unless they enlist the help of the true mystics or the Gnostics, the original inhabitants. And there's a big difference between enlisting the help of the original inhabitants or trying to enslave them. And that's what historically has tried to happen. Now, these two groups, I'm going to describe them a little bit. The atheist group can be extremely intelligent, but they believe in hard science, they believe in logic and reason, and there is no spiritual, there is no afterlife. They don't recognize any paranormal activity at all. And back at the time before Christ, before Jesus came, we're talking about these. This group was Semites. Even though, for example, the Jewish religion believes in one God, generally speaking, they do not believe in an afterlife. They do not believe in a soul the way that the Christians, for example, do. And I'm just using that as an example, but I'm giving the blanket description of atheists. And you can find them in any country, in any nationality of the world. But this is their internal wiring. And they, even though they have they came into this body with a strongly developed sense of self, they tend to be collectivists. And instead of self, they think of race, they think of the collective, the hive mind, the good, the higher good of the whole. you get the picture. I've talked about these later at other points. Now the zealots or the traditionalists, they're extremely psychic, but and they can perceive things in the astral, but they don't understand that the astral is mostly made up of ghosts of the past. They can't creatively fashion a new future. So they're stuck in a repeating loop of, okay, history is going to repeat itself. History is going to repeat itself. That's why they call them traditionalists. And history does tend to be circular. Time tends to be circular and comes back, but it's never the same. So it's just to the traditionalist view is not entirely correct. And this idea of earth is sinful and unclean, deny the physical body. There's a life after death, and that's what's important. And this merging back into soul, into a source, they have glorified that to the point where they're willing to destroy life upon earth to go back to God. And that makes this particular group of people perhaps the most dangerous group of people there is. And we see this group of people in the religious fanatics of the world today. There's, while we can share this physical world and bring heaven to earth, we can share that with the atheists because they want a beautiful heaven on earth too. The zealots, on the other hand, they're intent on destroying everything that life has created so that they can go back out of these physical bodies that they feel trapped in. I'm out of time for today. Check out my website, subscribe to these videos, share them, and if possible, donations are welcomed. You can donate by going to my link on my webpage, which is listed below. Thank you. Have a good day.